Welcome to the Power of Great. I'm your host, Matt Crane, and every single week we come to you right here on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora with one simple mission in mind, and that's to help you recognize that your current situation is not your defining moment. This week I have the esteemed pleasure of welcoming the inventor of the infomercial, as seen on television pioneer, best-selling author, and the original shark on Shark Tank, Mr. Kevin Harrington. Kevin, welcome to the Power of Great, my friend.
Hey, Matt. Hey, I love the name of your podcast. It just sounds good, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know, we were talking a little bit offline, and as entrepreneurs, it truly is all about recognizing that where you currently are has no bearing on where you want to go. If you're committed to doing something abnormal, if you're committed to thinking outside the box and taking a chance. And with you, I had the chance of hearing you speak at the 10X Growth Conference, and your entire life has been nothing but taking risks, taking chances. And, you know, I want to start really quickly before your accolades and your accomplishments themselves could be a whole show. But you started your very first company with a $25,000 investment. You know, so talk to our audience, especially our entrepreneurial community. How did you go about getting the money to start your first company, and what was that process like?
Well, so interestingly enough, I had just gotten married, and so I was, I was an entrepreneur prior to starting this first company. I'd done some smaller businesses. This company, I say, was my first company. It was sort of when I got into the real world, right? Like I was a driveway sealing guy in high school, and I had a little heating and air conditioning company, which actually grew to $1 million a year when I was in college. And by the way, that was in the 70s. So $1 million a year in the 70s is probably 3 or 4 million today. So nothing to sneeze at. But this company that I started with the 25,000 was an as seen on TV company, and we started doing products on TV, and it grew to $500 million a year in sales. So that's why I say that was kind of like my first company, so to speak, right? But I mean, I had made a few dollars, just these other things prior and all of that. But so it wasn't, like the 25 grand was, money that I had, and because I had sold one of my companies and all that. But so that wasn't the problem. It was, how do you start something that's going to go and become 500 million, right? I mean, because I was watching TV, I saw I was watching Discovery Channel. All of a sudden, the airwaves went dark, and then bars came up on the screen. And for me, that was the eureka moment to say, wow, wait a minute. I found out that 6 hours a day, Discovery was only an 18-hour-a-day network. Let me program those 6 hours a day. So that's when I said, I'm going to plug 25 grand into putting products on Discovery Channel. And that is what became the $500 million, eureka moment for me. So, I was, I think you mentioned ahead of the curve or ahead of my time or whatever, but it was filling up these unused airwaves back in the early days. And, in the word remnant is maybe appropriate. Priceline selling remnant hotel and hotel and airline remnant space. And I was filling remnant TV space and doing it with 30-minute shows, et cetera. So from Jack LaLanne to George Foreman to Tony Little, Billy Mays, all these kind of guys, I saw the vision of unused airtime, and I said, I have 6 hours a day to fill. Then I got a long-term contract with Discovery, and I'm like, I can put the greatest salesman in the world now on my channel. And then we took it to Europe, then we took it to Asia and Latin America, and that's how it grew around the world. So it was an amazing run that I've had now. I've been doing this 32 years, and I've got a lot of other things that I do now, but I'm still selling products on TV because it's been near and dear to me for 30 plus years.
And that to me, that's such an amazing story because you are ahead of the curve. I mean, you recognize 6 hours were being wasted on nothing. So let me take something that I'm already paying for, that I'm already controlling, and let me fill it up and help grow other people's businesses.
Yeah.
So, as an entrepreneur yourself, how fulfilling is that? How fulfilling is it knowing that someone has a great idea and you're able to manifest that into life-changing business and income for those people?
Well, like one of the very first guys I saw, his name was Arnold Morris. He would work 40 hours a week. He would go from trade show to trade show. I met him at the Philadelphia Home Show. All day long, he would cut through Coca-Cola cans and mufflers with the knife, the Ginsu knife. And he would do that presentation for hours upon hours upon hours, all day, 40 weeks a year, the same pitch. And I'm the one that said, Arnold, I'm going to put you on TV. And he's like, what do you mean put me on TV? I said, the Discovery Channel is dark 6 hours a day. Let's film it once. Instead of you doing this in front of 10 people at the Iowa State Fair, the Philadelphia Home Show, let's take you to millions around the world. And, to see Arnold getting millions and millions of dollars, was very fulfilling, because certainly as an entrepreneur, I was making money, but I was changing a lot of lives, from Arnold Morris to Billy Mays to Sandy Mason to Wally Nash. Some of those names you may never even recognize, but these are people that were everyday people making millions of dollars because I saw their pitch. I took them, brought them under our wings, and put them on TV. And we started doing this in 1984, 85, way back in the early days. Actually, pre-planned it from earlier than that even. But we had a lot of great success with a lot of great entrepreneurs. And then you meet somebody as famous as George Foreman, and you say, what's your passion? And, like Jack LaLanne, his passion was, drinking fresh carrot juice. So let's sell a juicer, and, it's no secret. George Foreman went on to sell billions of dollars of a grill. But this is where it came in. George was, he created this thing himself. It was a slanted grill, so the grease dripped off, and now you had less fat on those cheeseburgers. So that's why it was called the lean, mean grilling machine. So I think that was the unique positioning. So I always say it isn't just find someone with a product. You got to find someone with the unique positioning of a great product, and that's what I do. I find that unique positioning with each and every person we deal with.
And that's such a golden nugget. And for everyone out there on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and Pandora, we've got the original Shark Entrepreneur of the Year. He's been awarded by many publications as the entrepreneur go-to in the space, Kevin Harrington. And what he just told you there, it's finding your unique space with your product. That's so important. Taking a great idea, but finding a niche, filling a void, and solving a problem with that product. And something, Kevin, that's something that your background and your companies do exceptionally, exceptionally well. And being the king of television, you've also done a phenomenal job of transitioning into the new era of digital media, digital marketing, and publications. So once again, talk to us. How was that transition? Was it seamless, or was it almost learning the space all over again, and how to really hit a home run like you did on the television space?
Great question, Matt. So I think this is what happened. That is, as we pioneered this as seen in TV business, is this filling the airwaves, the infomercial time. We're on Discovery Channel, Lifetime, all these different channels, hundreds, thousands of channels around the world. But now what's happened is viewers have started moving off of TV. It's no secret. TV has 50% fewer viewers today than they had 10 years ago. But what I said is, where have the viewers gone? They went to Facebook, they went to Netflix, they went to Pinterest, they went to Instagram. So all I'm doing now is following the viewers. And there's one thing that's remained constant: video sells. And that's what I do. I find a product, I create a video around it. The one thing that's a little different, we were able to produce these 30-minute infomercials over the last 30-some years. Now they're a little shorter. We don't generally online, you don't do 30-minute. People aren't going to watch 30-minute shows. Their attention span is a lot less. So we just had to kind of morph our skill level to a little bit different kind of video production. But at the end of the day, we followed the eyeball. So now we're on Facebook. Now we're on Pinterest. Now we're on Instagram, all these different social media channels where the people are hanging out. So it isn't brain surgery, but we did have to come up with new ways of structuring these selling messages, because today's market, they don't want to be as hard. It's not as hard to sell. Like on TV, we can pretty much, in 30 minutes, you're pitching, okay? And I say, we create a perfect pitch. Online, sometimes you got to do a little delicate balance of educating, bringing them into a funnel, and then slowly start leaking out offers and opportunities and tripwires and things like that. So there is a little bit different model, but at the end of the day, I'm a product developer. I produce video. I reach the consumer. It's a similar business, similar model, just had to tweak the positioning a little bit of how we reach those customers and the length of the videos, et cetera.
You know, and there again, I think it's important, and a question that I know our audience is dying to ask, and I'm going to ask it, is that there's still so many entrepreneurs and people today who have great ideas but don't understand you've got to get it in front of people. You've got to get it to social media. So talk to our audience, you know, because you also do a ton of consulting. You have a company that consults with social media and digital networks and things of that nature. You know, so what would you say for an entrepreneur right now that's just not trying to get out there enough, that's not getting on social media enough? What's one tip you can offer them right now that's going to help them move the needle and get off the fence?
Well, I mean, look, I'll just tell you this. Before, 3 years ago, I never had put any ads anywhere on social media or any kind of digital stuff other than just, some Google AdWords and some stuff like that on the internet. But we started doing some testing, and I found that we could go onto Facebook and put a $5 ad up and generate $25 in sales. And I'm like, well, wow, this is very powerful, right? If I got $5 and I can bring in 25, let's go spend $5,000 and see if it can bring in 25 grand, right? And the metrics were holding up to a point. So, I think the bottom line is that, if you've got a product, a service, or a business, there's people out there on the social media networks that if you position it the right way, they're looking to buy. So it's no different than when Home Shopping Network and I started in this infomercial business. People don't tune in to infomercials, right? But they buy like crazy to the tune of billions of dollars a year. So, on Facebook, they're doing something. They're going to see some of these ads. As long as you don't hard hit them, smack them too hard on top of the head with some crazy offer, you've got to be able to just, make sure the millennial marketplace and younger, a little bit different than the old school way. So you just got to learn how to approach the marketplace, and there's a lot of opportunities and wealth if you do it right.
Well, and I couldn't agree with you more, and I definitely want to expand on that. Is you're exactly right. Consumers now, they're more apropos to go with a quick decision. They want it easy. They want it fast. They want you to get to the point. Do you see a lot of entrepreneurs, especially with Facebook Live and a lot of these videos, are they getting too long-winded? Are they pitching past their pitch? And are they making it more difficult for the marketplace today to just figure out what it is they do?
Well, I think at the end of the day, yeah, it depends. I say that there's one of the things you got to look at is generational marketing. And there's, the seniors, you got to talk to a little bit differently than you talk to the millennials, right? And so, at all different levels, and there's also different networks. Facebook is, 55 plus for women is a great place to go for Facebook, right? If you got some kind of a skincare cream for an aging 50-year-old woman, Facebook would be a good spot. You're not going to go to Snapchat for that, right? So you've got to learn. Snapchat's quick. You're popping out those 10-second clips, and so yeah, you have to be able to tailor your message to the audience and to the network that you're dealing with. Pinterest is very female oriented, and like beauty stuff works very good there. So that's one of the things that I pride myself on, because coming out of the old broadcast TV world, we use day parts, we use networks. Lifetime was great for women's movies, and Spike Channel's great for hardcore men's stuff. So we sell kitchen products, we sell baldness products for men, and then you got everything in between, fitness and golf and all the above. So you got to learn how to get to the market, and I think there's a lot of great channel opportunities out there for the marketers today, even more so than the old days.
Absolutely. Well, once again, everyone, you're listening to Kevin Harrington on The Power of Great, inventor of the infomercial, as seen on television pioneer. You got to get over to kevinharrington.tv, and I got to tell you something interesting. As soon as you get to the website, right away, you're going to get 6 amazing ebooks that he's going to send to you directly on Facebook Messenger. I've been very fortunate to download those ebooks. I've already started to read them and apply the knowledge, and I've got to tell you, one of the things that impresses me the most about this exceedingly, exceptionally successful entrepreneur is the amount of free information that he gives back, that he gives out. So you definitely want to get to kevinharrington.tv. You got to get that information. And here's the cool thing. Why wouldn't you not want a daily inbox from the original shark on Shark Tank? That'd just be foolish in my opinion. So you know, Kevin, switching gears just a little bit, we talk about Shark Tank, and we talk about every entrepreneur always has to stay in front of their audience, always has to look to improve and to increase their pipeline. For you, how did Shark Tank help even explode your already exploding businesses? How did that do for you?
Well, it's no secret, you know, Shark Tank it's the #1 business reality show in the world. It's running in 40 countries, give or take, around the world. And we have some amazing things that have come back, you know, from being on TV like that. You know, so I'll go back to the very beginning, though. I remember when we were shooting Shark Tank, nobody knew what it was. I told my wife, I said, I'm going out to LA and I'm shooting this new show with Mark Burnett called Shark Tank. And she said, Kevin, she said, you know, have you seen what Mark Burnett does to those people on that Survivor Island show? You better watch out for, you know, something called Shark Tank. And because she thought it was like a fishing show, you know, for one of the, you know, National Geographic channels or something, right? And I said, no, this is a mainstream business show. It's going to be on ABC Network. So, but when we were shooting the show, there was no distribution. There was no guarantee it was going anywhere. So I was investing hard money, my own money, cash, into deals, not knowing whether we were going to get distribution of the TV show. And so it was a long fought battle for actually, I mean, Mark Burnett's like, wow, I can't believe that we shot this beautiful pilot and he showed it to this network and that network and it wasn't getting a pickup. So, you know, I took the risk, the leap of faith that, okay, I'll shoot the pilot, I'll invest my own money, let's get some distribution. It took a while for people to really pick up on the fact that Shark Tank was out there and was really a cool show, and it started getting this cult following. And by the 3rd or 4th year, it was unbelievable. And then by that time, all my original shows were rerunning on CNBC. So I've been on TV for the last 7 or 8 years. It's done a great job to help build the Kevin Harrington brand for me, and I've appreciated that greatly from the standpoint of ABC and Sony and Mark Burnett Productions. It's been a great ride to be affiliated with the best business branded reality TV show in the world. But it's, you know, it's not without me paying my dues. I invested a lot of money, you know, some deals, hundreds of thousands of dollars cash into businesses. Some of them did, some of them didn't work. So, you know, at the end of the day, it was a fun run. And I had what could be so bad? Hanging out with Mr. Wonderful all the time, right? that was a trip unto itself.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin to wrap up the show, I've got to tell you, Kevin Harrington is an amazing author as well. He's got 2 bestsellers. He's also just recently released his latest bestseller, Put a Shark in Your Tank. We're going to have that up, the link available on the show notes and on our website as well. So here's the great thing, Kevin. How can those aspiring entrepreneurs or people who are interested in working with you or doing business with you or just putting things in front of you to take a look at, how can they go about doing that?
Well, so I love meeting with entrepreneurs. I travel the country. I said, on Shark Tank, I'd only see 8 or 10 people in a day. And that's when I said, I need to get out, do a tour, do podcasts like we're doing right now, talking to thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. I do this week, I'm in LAX, Hyatt Regency, doing a big event where there'll be, you know, probably, I know there's dozens, if not hundreds that are going to be there. Last week, I was at an event this Thursday. I'm doing an event in St. Petersburg, Florida, the Hilton Bayfront, and there'll be hundreds of people there. So at the end of the day, I'm out every week. Last year I did 112 events. So this year it's going to be even more. I don't know the number yet, but it's been pretty aggressive. Some weeks as many as 4 to 5 in a week in multiple countries. So I was in Brazil, I was in Zurich, I was in Mexico, all in like a 2-3 week stretch. So, at the end of the day, I love meeting entrepreneurs. If someone wants to give me a pitch, they can get me at kevinharrington.tv. And that's a special place that I personally will review and respond to. And so Kevin at kevinharrington.tv. So, because this is the thing. I never know, some of the craziest things that have come to me have come off me interacting with someone like yourself right now, Matt, in a podcast. And, giving you a couple of examples. One was a nightlight for your toilet bowl that came just after speaking in a program just like this. And so some guys, I got this patent on a nightlight for your toilet bowl. Now it's called Global Illumable. It got on Shark Tank and has sold millions and millions of pieces now from the early days. So thank God, we've got a great way to communicate with people the way we are right now on this podcast all over the world. And it's just great to network with entrepreneurs like yourself. So I appreciate you having me on today. And if anybody wants to track me down, they got the details, Kevin at kevinharrington.tv.
I love it. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Harrington came to the Power of Great and delivered the goods. Once again, Kevin at kevinharrington.tv. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, you got to get to kevinharrington.tv. You want to subscribe. You want to become part of that daily Facebook Messenger program. You will not be disappointed. I'm your host, Matt Crean. I leave you with this every week. Success is never measured by what you step out of, rather by what you're committed to step into. And I look forward to seeing you all next week.